How many of you ever think you'll need to know how? Okay, that's what I thought. And that's what I thought too until I was confronted with it my junior year of high school. Throughout high school, I was involved with an independent and entirely student-run theater company called Grab Bag Theater, and my junior year, I was on the junior board. We didn't have a choreographer for our spring musical, The Pajama Game, and since I was the only person with dance experience in a leadership position, I volunteered. I was planning on doing it with another girl, and we weren't too worried about it since we would be figuring it out together. Right after rehearsal started, she quit. There I was, on my own, trying to teach a bunch of uncoordinated high schoolers how to dance. Today, I'm going to break it down for you in 5 steps and tell you what I would have liked to hear before I started. Step 1, make up the dances. To do this, listen to the music, over and over and over. If you're lucky, it'll be on Spotify, but YouTube versions work pretty well as well. Watch videos of other groups doing the show to sort of see how other choreographers have done it, and watch videos of other groups doing any choreography to gather inspiration and different ideas. But make sure to not steal choreography because, as an article from Dance Magazine reminds us, it can be copyrighted. Make it up in your head and practice it in your bedroom, figure out what works and what doesn't. I did most of mine at midnight the night before I was teaching it, which I wouldn't recommend, but, it worked out. Also, make sure to not choreograph it for an individual. Do it for the group as a whole and try to visualize how it would look on the stage with everybody doing it at once. Josh Rhodes, the choreographer of Cinderella on Broadway, has said it's all about figuring out comedic beats and understanding the dynamics of your cast. Once you have it ready to go, make sure to not forget it. For step 2, write it down with the lyrics and the 8 counts. I did both because a lot of my moves corresponded very directly with the lyrics, and I did 8 counts in sections that didn't have lyrics, but you can do only 8 counts, whatever works for you. I thought making videos was very helpful to remember it and to teach people, so after you taught it originally, they could reference the video. And Google Docs are good to write it down, but I also liked drawing pictures, so I did a lot in pencil in my libretto, which is like the script with the music and lyrics and everything. Once you have it written down, it's time for step 3 to teach and tweak the dances. Make sure you can play the music. A lot of our rehearsal spaces had pretty unreliable Wi-Fi, so it would have been a lot better to download the music and bring a speaker and teach it section by section. Go through it as many times as you can in your time to teach, but also don't freak out when you're running really low on time and your actors will not shut up. Another article from Dance Magazine discusses how good dance is for improving teamwork. I taught a group to tango for one of the dances called Hernando's Hideaway, and we had a lot of fun with that. Also change things if you need to. Some things you thought were going to look really cool might be awkward on stage once people are actually doing it. And your actors might have great ideas as well. Once they've learned them, it's time for step 4. Make sure your actors don't forget the dances. Post your notes or critiques of them on a Facebook group or email them out, whatever your group is using for the show. And post the choreography if they need that as well. Make sure to clarify some things you've written down, because since you wrote it just so you yourself would remember it, it might be unclear for them. And make sure you change anything written down if you changed it while you were teaching it. Once you're ready to go, step 5 is to chill. It'll all work out. Freak out a little bit because you're really worried, and maybe add yourself into a number or 2. Sorry. So the rest of the cast can follow along, and freak out because it went so well. Daniel J. Watts, a professional Broadway dancer, explained his amazement of dance and theater that began when he watched performers like Sammy Davis Jr. and Dick Van Dyke as a boy. What drove his passion was, and I quote, "Seeing those men express themselves through movement while furthering a story they were telling equated with their having some sort of magical power." Once the show is over, and this is my cast, by the way, celebrate a little bit because you have your life back. but miss your cast and crew terribly, even the ones you love to hate. And finally, do it again because you're stupid and it's awesome and so fulfilling and so much fun. The next year, I was on the executive board of the company and I choreographed Urinetown the musical. I think these stories and steps, and that's the show, some of my dancers. And that's my cast for Urinetown with the crew, and I'm in there as well. I think these steps and stories would have been really helpful when I was trying to figure out how to choreograph the pajama game. And I hope these will help you if you ever encounter the extremely unlikely circumstance of having to choreograph a musical. If you do, please let me know and break a leg.